Call the meeting to order.
Hawkins? Yes. Burrows?
Yes.
Southville? Yes. Moreno?
Yes.
Vargas?
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Oh,
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Communication and visitors. This is the time when community members can make public comments to the board. Please be aware that the board cannot comment on anything that is said during this time. This is the only time in the agenda reserved for open public comment. This forum will be limited to 30 minutes. Please limit your comments to 4. That being said, we do have, hold on. Yeah, we also do have the public hearing later, so that's.
Yeah.
But yeah. So. You guys for the public hearing part, correct? Yes. Okay, all right, so we'll move forward. Nobody for the communications and visitors component.
So central administration, no fundraising request to present more overnight trips to review. So,
All right, so this part, I'm opening the public hearing at 6:01 p.m. This is the time for the board to hear any public comments from the audience concerning the 24-25 published budget. Yes. So comments about the property tax.
Well, it's something that is not right here. Maybe there. Oops. So I received that one. Then they say my current taxes are 4,000 to 500 cents.
Mhm.
And this is my current taxes. 3,750. And that's the proposal is like $50. Like for this proposal,
Mhm.
it's like $800 more.
So the current property tax 4429, that's the total property tax of the county. You want,
Isn't it 4 million?
yeah, it's $4,429,583 for the entire county.
That's not personal property.
Yours. I don't
This
think it
doesn't
says
have your
personal.
personal, that's just for the entire.
Yeah, it shows the entire county. So this one's what yours is. And that's actually what, 2 years,
Well,
2 years ago, technically?
Yeah, for the.
no, this is for this year.
Yeah, so you paid 2 years in arrears. So like you paid 2 years back. So like if you went to sell your house, you'd have to pay the taxes on the current.
Yeah.
2 years.
That's not your personal, that's
Uh-huh.
just for the entire
For the entire,
county.
For the entire county, yep.
okay.
It's the one. Everybody
Well,
got
that's
that.
why I scared, say it's like $800.
Right, yeah, for sure. This, yeah, so that's the one that's due, and then there will be another one, obviously,
Uh-huh,
based on that increase, but it's marginal. I mean, it's
But yeah, but that's
2%.
Because-
That's not your,
Right.
that's not yours, and that's,
uh-huh,
and you're looking at, that's
Yeah,
4 million.
4 million, okay.
Yeah,
Because in this,
and then that one.
that's the
is
said, is my house is only $1,000
Mhm.
more than
Yeah.
value, so.
That's the one that,
yeah, so this,
that's the one that anyway. Like, isn't that the one that you go, oh?
no, this is just the assessment on the home.
Oh.
The assessment on the home guides the numbers on the top side of this that then feeds the net annual taxes. So yeah, ultimately what it boils down to is this 4 million is just the entire
The
county
entire
tax.
county, okay,
And then yours would be incremental to that. But
okay.
it would go up just a little bit based on that.
Just a little, okay, that's much better because I was
Yeah.
scared. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other comments? Okay. All right, that being said, I will close the public hearing at 6:05. Next item is the 24-25 budget that Abby has up on the screen. Any questions, comments, concerns? To bring up on this,
Tax rate will be that 13.08854. Sorry.
which is actually lower than what we thought it might have been.
Yes, because that was
5.2.
before SSA was set, so.
Nice.
And that's preliminary as well. There might be little changes to calculations, but shouldn't be any higher than that.
All right, that does require a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Next item is the ratification of the WLPEA, which is the Para Association. The 24-25 tentative agreement. That is in your board packet there.
It's a little chicken scratchy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that was a couple rounds. I
We
mean,
were excited to ratify, so we're like, you know what, strike while the iron is hot, you know?
All right.
We saved ink about that, you know?
It's a live document.
Yeah.
We'll go into history.
So there's-
Percentages maybe.
I don't know if we walk through all the changes. So effectively what it is we killed this preliminary step on the step schedule. It was like an introductory, if they had zero experience thing, but it was supposed to be like
It was kind of probationary. stuff.
probationary.
it was a 6 months type thing,
Yeah,
right?
but it created a more clerical effort than it needed, and it sometimes didn't get followed through on, maybe all the time didn't get followed through on, so it was like, let's just nix that. We were in full agreement with them on that one, and then we did everything we could to bring them up to the entry level at 16, to try to be as competitive in the market as possible, and then changing that first step to 40 cents for that jump. It was like, I think it was like 65 cents from the HP or like that probationary step to that step 0 or step 1. Can't remember. I think to step 1. It was a sizable jump, and we just ate into that a touch
Mhm.
to bring up that
was-
lowest.
Between HP and 0, it was, I think, 10 cents, and then between 0 and 1, it was 50.
Yeah, so we just closed the gap to the best we could there. And then one of the other new components is step 7 used to be like 7 to 10, and then there was a 11 plus. And there was some funny math with how it once you get to 11, then it like references the 6th year rate plus 40 cents or something like that. We just standardized it, made it simple. After 7 years, you go to that 1725, and then,
You get
you go from there. So it's just very simplified thing instead of being as messy as it was. And it also kind of brought it down soon to get people rewarded sooner, I guess is maybe the right way to put that.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get anybody to stay 11 years anyway. So let's start rewarding where people are at.
No, like no steps, like no different pay for.
Oh, yeah. So there was one other component, there was an item that was in place for, pairs that had IEP students. So if they had an IEP student, they would get a stipend. It was paid out twice a year. I think it was 300 per,
Year.
3 times a year. So 200 per, 250 per, so 750 there total. We cleared that out to add more to their base pay because what happens is if a pair that has an IEP student is out, there's a strong possibility that they could be subbed by someone who's not getting that stipend. So then there becomes an inequity. And also this gave us the ability to just pay more to everyone rather than trying to figure out who gets what, when. And when it started out, there was maybe only a few that were getting it, and now a lot of people are getting it, and are the right people getting it, and who decides that? So it was like, you know what, again, standardize, simplify, let's just go with this.
And it was getting a problem too, because sometimes they do half days, like you get one student one day, half, and then it got too hard to keep track. So
Yeah.
it just became kind of a logistical.
Yeah, it's another clerical thing that somebody has to track, somebody has to monitor. We have to make sure that we're paying people properly. And then, you open yourself up to issues if something gets mistaken or missed or something. So, yeah, in the spirit of simplification, we kind of went that route. Anything else? Questions?
Good job.
You. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the ratification of the WLPEA 2024-25 tentative agreement.
I'll make a motion.
And second,
A second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries. Awesome, thank you. Next item, Abby, board insurance. please.
Oh, yeah. So I think we mentioned, previously, we've kind of switched brokers, before we were in the ICEBA trust. And we are moving out of that and, working with Holmes Murphy. So they do a lot of partial self-funding. And we threw the idea around the last couple of years, and I've talked with them in the past, and it just kind of made the most sense to go that route this year, we thought. So basically we buy a higher deductible and then we pay down to employees until they reach that higher. So they might buy a $1,250 deductible from Wellmark. We've purchased a $5,000 deductible. So from $1,250 to $5,000, the district is actually paying that difference. And so you take the risk of everybody that we have on staff, you going up to 5,000. Most likely that's not gonna happen. Hopefully a lot of people underutilized, and then we save some money that way. It also allows us to kind of manage the premiums we're charging to employees as well. Like right now, we get a price from Wellmark. That is what it is. Now we can kind of determine what makes sense as far as what we charge them versus the premium we're paying to Walmart. And then as we are able to save money as we implement this, we put it into a reserve fund. So then the years when there are huge spikes or whatnot, we can kind of use some of that reserve to offset those premium increases for staff. So I've included there kind of what it looks like for each group. In the big scheme of things, not a ton has changed, just like we were gonna have a 7.5% increase if we would have stuck with what we were gonna have. Now, depending family versus employee and like what deductible plan, it's gonna be less than that. Some of those lower deductibles are gonna see more of an increase, but we're also trying to steer people away from those super low deductibles because it's really easy to hit a $250 deductible and a $750 these days. So the one other thing that has changed is we've before we had all PPO plans, now we have POS plans in the service. So I think the only difference is the network's a little narrower, like serves mostly Iowa. You kind of have to get some pre-approval to go outside of Iowa, but they said many other school districts and, you know, companies have gone this route and they have not had issues with it. And it saves you quite a bit, like 10% from a PPO to POS. We are keeping that PPO as an option if people feel the need to buy up to that. But the district will be covering the $1,250 POS for teachers. And that's what our contribution is based off of, that $1,250 POS plan. There is a folder within the packet as well that lays out each of the groups as well.
There, like I looked at it earlier, now it's gone, but now I found the folder.
Yeah. Which pretty much look and feel the same to employees as it has in the past. It's just
Okay.
kind of behind the scenes and they've been really good to work with. I think Holmes Murphy, they're very good with communication and educating. So they will do a lot of that, where I feel like we've kind of lacked that with our last group we went through. I feel like they're very much hands-on and will, get the information to our employees and make sure they understand what plan they're getting and why they're getting that, and does that make sense for them, kind of thing.
Out of curiosity, how do they do that? Just group meetings?
Yeah,
meetings?
They'll come on site here, within the next month or so for, open enrollment, and then, they have, and it'll be all an online platform as well too, so all of our benefits will be in one place, which will be nice. They'll come out again at the beginning of the school year. They wanna either meet in person or, virtually with every employee when they enroll, just to, answer any questions they might have, or there's a call center they can call. And I think as we continue next year, we're thinking we'll create kind of an insurance committee, made up of staff and administrators, and to kind of keep up to date and like, where do we need to make changes, what makes sense, because insurance prices keep increasing, and so if we can get everybody on the same page, and Holmes Murphy is really good about what makes sense for us, like kind of individualizing things for us first. I don't feel like we've had a lot of that. Our plan moving forward is to really, have those meetings throughout the year, so when we get to this point, nothing's a surprise.
Any other questions or comments on the insurance contribution rates? That one requires a motion for approval, please,
I'll make a motion.
and a second.
I'll second.
All fair say aye. Aye. Carries. Thank you all. Athletic complex change order.
Oh, there's a lot.
Too many tabs open here.
It's, I mean,
There it is.
at the precipice though, it's, you've already outlined this
Yeah.
a few times that, we were gonna see this, so.
Yes, correct. So the concrete at the drive, that's just where you come in, wherever you go into the complex, and that new parking, I had to put up an additional curb. Done some additional sidewalk work around there. And then, plate clock padding, just something we needed to have around the plate clocks. So we added that originally, that wasn't in there. But just going through, Peterson who's done, I believe it's them, all the other work out there. Telehandler rental, was when we moved that transformer that the city had, when we moved that into place. That was just the charge for renting that. And then we had some credit back for slot drain that wasn't used around the football, soccer field, track area. And then the hydro mulching, which they were out there doing that, right before I came over here. So, yeah, just in time for the rain, the nice calm rain.
Yeah.
Hopefully, so any questions about those? But as you said, yeah, we've talked about most of them.
I saw them this weekend too, doing.
Yeah.
Okay, with no questions, can I get a motion to approve project change order number 8
I'll move for approval of the change order.
and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries. Next item, second reading board policy 700 to 711.9.
I think all those changes you mentioned last time were made.
Thanks. Thank you.
I think there's a couple things on there you talked about, like removing that cheerful word from the one.
Yeah.
That's pretty odd, yeah.
This is weird.
We did remove that. Otherwise, these are all aligned to ISB recommendations. There's a few mandatory ones in there as well.
Any feedback on those at all? I will entertain a motion to approve board policy 700 to 711.9.
Make a motion.
In a second,
One second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries. Next item, consent agenda.
Yeah, minutes from the last 3 meetings are included in the packet. One warrants treasurer's report, personnel, retirement, Rebecca Cober, high school para, resignation, Luke Lebeau, Jerome line instructor, and then new hires, Kayla Morrison, assistant girls golf coach, Sunny Overfull, middle school art teacher, and Angie Gingrich, middle school office secretary.
Is the art teacher related to?
Yes, that was his wife.
That was his wife?
Yes. I believe. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I was just wondering. I didn't know, maybe a daughter, wife. That's nice.
Mhm.
And we're losing our, 2022 para of the year this year, potentially losing our 23 para of the year next year.
Oh,
You guys gotta step it up. You gotta get some more going. You got a pipeline to fill.
I'm gonna miss Luann for sure.
Yeah.
Big time, but she has said she's gonna come back and sub as. a
I was gonna
teacher,
say, I bet
so-
you Rebecca will probably sub.
She said she'll be back to sub as a teacher for sure, so
Fantastic.
she's not gone.
Good,
It's good.
fantastic.
I told her her retirement's not in here yet. I'm working on it.
All right, I need a motion to approve the personnel.
I'll make a motion.
And a second,
A second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Future agenda items, next board meeting is May 6th at 6 p.m. here. We will have the tanager contract for 24-25, the fiscal year 25 settlements, and then Sean's superintendent report. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
And a second,
One second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries, we are adjourned 6:22.